From Bianca Belair's raw athletic build to Liv Morgan's edgy appeal and Trish Stratus's era-defining beauty, WWE has never been short on stunning female stars. In this video, we're counting down some of the most attractive female wrestlers of all time. Bianca Belair. Ladies and gentlemen, when Bianca Belair calls herself the best, the strongest, the fastest, and the toughest, she is not exaggerating in the slightest. This woman has completely revolutionized what it means to be a female athlete in professional wrestling, and her inclusion on this list is a testament to how the definition of attractiveness in this industry has evolved over the decades. Born and raised with an athletic background that would make most Olympic hopefuls jealous, Bianca Belair brought something entirely different to the table when she arrived in WWE. Her powerhouse build is unlike anything we've seen in women's wrestling before. She's absolutely ripped, with muscle definition that speaks to countless hours in the gym and an unwavering dedication to her craft. But here's the thing that makes Bianca truly special. She manages to combine that incredible athleticism with undeniable model-like features and a signature style that's entirely her own. And speaking of signature style, we absolutely have to talk about that braid. That long, beautiful, iconic braid has become as much a part of Bianca Belair's identity as any championship she's ever held. It's not just a hairstyle, it's a statement, it's a weapon. It's become one of the most recognizable visual elements in all of modern wrestling, and the way Bianca whips it around during her entrance has become must-see television. But what truly elevates Bianca Belair on this list is her superhuman combination of strength, beauty, and that infectious positivity that radiates from her every time she steps in front of a camera. As a multi-time champion, she has proven time and time again that she belongs at the very top of this division. Her social media presence showcases not just her in-ring excellence, but her discipline, her dedication, and her aesthetics in a way that connects with fans on a deeply personal level. The EST of WWE absolutely deserves her spot on this list, a sentiment echoed across fan discussions on Reddit and Bleacher Report's rankings. But if Bianca represents positivity and power, our next entry takes that blonde bombshell energy and adds a dangerous edge that's proven absolutely irresistible to fans worldwide. Liv Morgan. Now, if you've been paying attention to professional wrestling over the past couple of years, you already know that Liv Morgan has undergone one of the most remarkable transformations in the history of this business. She went from being a talented but underutilized performer to becoming one of the most talked about women in the entire industry, and her place on this list reflects that incredible journey. Liv Morgan, born Gianna Daddio, possesses that classic blonde bombshell look that has always captured the attention of wrestling fans. Long blonde hair, an athletic frame honed through years of dedication, and those striking features that photograph incredibly well. But what sets Liv apart from so many others who came before her is that undeniable edge that she brings to everything she does. There's something dangerous lurking behind those eyes, and that combination of girl-next-door charm with just a hint of something darker has proven absolutely irresistible to the WWE Universe. Her Revenge Tour storyline and subsequent run with the Judgment Day faction showcased a side of Liv Morgan that fans had been waiting years to see. The cackling villainy, the unhinged energy, the confidence that comes from finally being given the spotlight she always deserved, all of it combined to create a character that was equal parts terrifying and captivating. And through it all, Liv's infectious energy never wavered. She threw herself into every segment, every match, every promo with an enthusiasm that was absolutely contagious. As a former two-time women's world champion and multi-time tag team champion, Liv Morgan has proven that she's not just a pretty face, she's a legitimate competitor who can hang with the very best in the business. Her social media presence has only amplified her appeal, showcasing her personality, her style, and her connection with fans in a way that feels genuine and authentic. In an era where so much of wrestling feels scripted and rehearsed, Liv Morgan manages to feel real. The 2025-2026 era has been particularly kind to Liv Morgan's status as a fan favorite, with her virality reaching new heights as she continues to evolve both in the ring and as a character. Her consistent placement in Ranker's Most Beautiful Female Wrestlers polls speaks volumes about her current appeal. Speaking of dangerous edges and dark personas, our next entry takes that concept to an entirely different level. A woman who has completely redefined what hot means in professional wrestling. Ria Ripley. Now we arrive at someone who might challenge some traditional notions of what hot means in professional wrestling, and that's exactly why she deserves to be here. We're talking about the Australian nightmare herself, the mommy of WWE, Ria Ripley. Ria Ripley, born Demi Bennett, has completely redefined what modern hotness looks like in professional wrestling. Gone are the days when female wrestlers were expected to fit a single mold of attractiveness. standards. Ria has shattered those expectations with a muscular, tattooed physique that screams raw power and intensity. Her dark, gothic style, her commanding presence, and that unforgettable mommy persona have made her one of the most talked-about female wrestlers of the current generation. What makes Ria Ripley so undeniably attractive to so many fans is that raw confidence that emanates from every fiber of her being. When Ria walks to the ring, you cannot look away. Her ripped build showcases the incredible dedication she puts into her physical training, and those tattoos tell stories of a life lived on her own terms. She doesn't apologize for who she is, she celebrates it. And that authenticity, that's incredibly attractive in an industry that sometimes feels manufactured. As a two-time women's world champion with impressive long title reigns under her belt, Ria Ripley has the credentials to back up her confidence. Her recent runs, including tag team championship success alongside Io Sky and dominant feuds that have main-evented major shows, have highlighted her ability to combine power with undeniable sex appeal. It's a combination that shouldn't work on paper, but in practice, it absolutely does. The 2025-2026 era has seen Ria Ripley's rankings in hottest wrestler lists absolutely surge, and the reason is simple. She represents a new paradigm. She proves that strength enhances allure rather than diminishing it. Her edgy swagger and global icon status have made her a favorite among fans who appreciate someone who refuses to conform to traditional expectations. Ranker's fan-voted polls specifically highlight her gothic allure, and Bleacher Report has noted her meteoric rise. Ria Ripley is a pioneer, and her inclusion on this list acknowledges the shifting landscape of what wrestling fans find attractive. But while Ria dominates with her imposing presence and dark aesthetic, our next entry proves that sometimes the most captivating package comes in a much smaller, more mischievous form. Alexa Bliss. Now we have the woman who quite literally nicknamed herself the Goddess. And honestly, who are we to argue? Alexa Bliss has been dominating beauty polls in 2025 and 2026, including topping Ranker's list of the most beautiful female wrestlers, and her presence on this countdown is absolutely undeniable. Born Alexis Cabrera, Alexa Bliss stands as proof that incredible things come in small packages. Her petite frame belies the enormous presence she commands every single time she steps into that ring. With her doll-like features, that signature blonde hair, a mischievous smile that can shift from adorable to terrifying in the blink of an eye, and those killer abs that have graced countless magazine covers and social media posts, Alexa Bliss has crafted an image that is absolutely unforgettable. But here's what truly makes Alexa Bliss special. She manages to be simultaneously cute and fierce in a way that very few performers ever have. One moment, she's skipping to the ring with that infectious smile. The next, she's delivering a devastating DDT to her opponent and standing over them with a look of pure malice. That range, that versatility, that ability to shift between personas, it's all part of what makes her so incredibly captivating to watch. Her 2025 return to WWE programming was nothing short of spectacular. That Royal Rumble pop, electric. Her subsequent tag title runs alongside Charlotte Flair showcased an evolved athleticism and a theatrical presence that demonstrated she was better than ever. Alexa Bliss didn't just come back, she came back with a vengeance, and her fans absolutely loved every moment of it. What cannot be overlooked is Alexa's social media influence, which is among the highest of any female wrestler currently active. Her ability to connect with fans outside the ring, to showcase her personality and her style, has kept her dominant in hottest wrestler discussions, even during periods when she wasn't actively competing. Alexa Bliss is the complete package: talent, charisma, beauty, and that indefinable star quality that separates the good from the great. The Goddess more than lives up to her name, and her dominance in crowdsourced fan polls with over 19,000 votes proves she's the current generation's gold standard. And speaking of unconventional beauty that defies expectations, our next entry took the wrestling world by storm with an alternative edge that proved hotness doesn't have to fit a single mold. AJ Lee. Here we have someone who brought something completely different to the table. A woman who proved that conventional beauty standards aren't the only path to becoming one of the most attractive performers in wrestling history. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the one and only AJ Lee. AJ Lee, born April Mendez, offered wrestling fans a punky, alternative edge that stood in stark contrast to the glamour-heavy divas who had dominated the industry for years before her arrival. Her petite frame, that long black hair, the tattoos, and most importantly, that nerdy, crazy persona she crafted, all of it combined to create something genuinely unique in the landscape of women's wrestling. She wasn't trying to be anyone else. She was unapologetically, authentically herself, and fans absolutely fell in love with her for it. Her in-ring credentials speak for themselves. As a three-time Divas champion with a record-breaking 406-day title reign, AJ Lee was not just a pretty face. She was a legitimate competitor who could outwork almost anyone on the roster. She brought intensity to her matches, told stories with her in-ring work, and delivered promos that cut deeper than any of her contemporaries. She was complete in a way that few divas of her era managed to be. But what made AJ Lee truly attractive to so many fans was that crazy chick vibe that she embraced so completely. Those piercing eyes that could shift from playful to psychotic in an instant. That edgy style that felt genuine rather than manufactured. The relatable fire that burned within her every time she picked up a microphone. AJ Lee resonated with fans on a level that transcended traditional beauty standards because she represented authenticity in an industry that often felt artificial. Though she retired young after personal choices that she's spoken about publicly, AJ Lee's impact on the wrestling industry lingers to this day. She proved that hotness comes from personality and intensity, not just conventional beauty. She opened doors for women who didn't fit the traditional diva mold, showing that there's more than one way to captivate an audience. Reddit wrestling communities continue to celebrate her unique appeal years after her retirement. But if AJ Lee represented the alternative side of attraction, our next entry swings the pendulum completely in the opposite direction, bringing high fashion, glamour, and sophisticated elegance to a whole new level. Maryse. Now we arrive at the French-Canadian glamour queen herself, Maryse. And folks, if we're talking about sophistication, elegance, and that classic high-fashion beauty that makes you feel like you're looking at a runway model rather than a professional wrestler, there is simply no one who does it better than Maryse. Maryse burst onto the WWE scene by winning the 2007 Diva Search, and from the very first moment she appeared on camera, it was clear that this woman was something special. Her striking features, the dark hair that cascaded perfectly, those high cheekbones that would make supermodels jealous, and that curvaceous figure that she carried with the poise of someone born to be in front of cameras, all of it combined to create an image of timeless beauty that transcended the wrestling industry. But what really set Maryse apart from her competition was her background. Before she ever stepped foot in a wrestling ring, Maryse had extensive experience in the modeling industry, and that experience showed in everything she did. The way she walked, the way she posed, the way she looked at the camera with that knowing, almost disdainful expression that was absolutely perfect for her character. Her snobby French-Canadian gimmick made her alluringly unattainable, the kind of woman who seemed too good for everyone around her, and somehow that made her even more attractive. As a two-time Divas champion, Maryse proved she could back up her glamorous image with actual wrestling ability. She brought high-fashion elegance to WWE at a time when that aesthetic was exactly what the company needed, and she did it with a sharpness and charisma that her contemporaries struggled to match. What's particularly impressive about Maryse is her staying power. Her occasional returns to WWE programming, often alongside her husband, The Miz, have kept her relevant in the minds of wrestling fans years after her full-time career ended. Every time she appears on screen, fans are reminded of why they fell in love with her in the first place. That timeless beauty, that sophisticated charm, that ability to command attention without seeming to try, it's all still there, as powerful as ever. Maryse proved that sophisticated sex appeal endures across eras, and her legacy as one of the most beautiful women to ever grace a WWE ring is absolutely secure, consistently featured in the top 10's hottest WWE, Divas rankings, and Total Shape's all-time divas list. But while Maryse brought sophisticated elegance, our next entry embodied a completely different kind of appeal. Youthful, energetic, and the very definition of the girl next door with a wild side. Kelly. Now we have someone who absolutely exploded onto the wrestling scene and became synonymous with a very specific era of WWE programming. The one and only Kelly, born Barbie Blank. Kelly made her debut in 2006 through the Diva Search, appearing on ECW with revealing outfits and a gymnastic flair that immediately caught the attention of every single fan watching at home. From the very first moment she appeared on television, it was clear that this young woman possessed something special, a combination of physical perfection and natural charisma that was absolutely impossible to ignore. Her appearance was the epitome of what many consider the perfect cheerleader body: blonde hair that seemed to glow under the arena lights, a toned figure honed through years of modeling and gymnastics training, and an endless endless supply of energy that made her a joy to watch, whether she was competing in the ring or participating in backstage segments. Her exhibitionist segments during her early ECW run became must-see television, pushing boundaries in ways that generated enormous buzz for the brand. But Kelly Kelly was far more than just eye candy. She captured the Divas Championship and became synonymous with high-energy, fun-loving hotness that defined the late 2000s diva era. Fans absolutely loved her girl-next-door charm. She felt approachable, genuine, and relatable in ways that some of her more glamorous contemporaries did not. At the same time, she possessed a bold confidence that allowed her to thrive in the spotlight no matter how intense that spotlight became. Her physique, shaped by her background in modeling and gymnastics, shone in bikini contests and dance spots throughout her WWE tenure. She earned consistent placements in hottest wrestler rankings throughout her career, and even years after her retirement, Kelly Kelly remains a beloved figure in wrestling polls and discussions about the most attractive women to ever perform in this industry. Even in retirement, she remains a fan favorite who represents everything that was great about her era, a fixture on the Top 10's classic diva rankings and Fantasy Kaladi's all-time list. And if Kelly Kelly captured hearts with her youthful energy and cheerleader charm, our next entry brought that same California sunshine, but elevated it with a fitness model's physique and a smile that could light up any arena: Torrie Wilson. As we move deeper into our countdown, we arrive at a woman who brought bright California sunshine to professional wrestling and became one of the most beloved figures of the early 2000s diva era. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the incomparable Torrie Wilson. Torrie Wilson made her wrestling debut in WCW in 1999 before truly thriving when she joined WWE. And from the moment she appeared on programming, she became the embodiment of a very specific type of beauty that captured the imagination of millions of fans worldwide. As a former fitness competitor and model, Torrie brought a level of physical conditioning to her appearances that was immediately apparent. Her athletic blonde physique, those toned abs that seemed almost impossible, and that radiant smile that could light up an entire arena. But what truly set Torrie Wilson apart from her contemporaries was that wholesome, sexy energy she exuded in everything she did. She possessed that rare quality of being simultaneously approachable and unattainable, like the ultimate girl next door who also happened to be impossibly beautiful. She was the woman you might actually meet at a coffee shop, if that woman was also a fitness model with a smile that stopped traffic. Her willingness to push boundaries helped cement her iconic status. Torrie posed for Playboy twice, showcasing her incredible physique in ways that drove magazine sales through the roof and generated enormous buzz for WWE. Her career featured memorable bikini matches, intense rivalries, including her famous storyline with Dawn Marie, and countless segments that emphasized her approachable beauty in ways that connected with audiences on a deeply personal level. What fans consistently praised about Torrie Wilson was her effortless charm. Nothing about her felt forced or manufactured. She seemed genuinely happy to be there, genuinely grateful for the opportunity to entertain fans, and that authenticity made her even more attractive. Her fitness background gave her a legitimacy that enhanced her glamour segments, making her a staple in hottest divas lists and magazine features throughout her career. Though Torrie retired in 2008, her retro popularity has only grown in the years since. In fan discussions and polls, she continues to be praised for blending athleticism with classic pin-up vibes in ways that perfectly captured the spirit of her era. Her enduring legacy is celebrated across Total Shape's rankings and the Top 10's all-time lists. But while Torrie's California charm made her unforgettable, our next entry took physical uniqueness to an entirely different level, a woman whose legendary 42-inch legs became the most talked-about attribute in WWE history: Stacy Keebler. Now we have a woman whose physical attributes became so iconic, so legendary, so absolutely synonymous with professional wrestling glamour that they literally became the defining characteristic of her entire career. Standing at an incredible 5'11", with what WWE officially recognized as the longest legs in company history at 42 inches, Stacy Keebler is the embodiment of model-esque perfection. Stacy Keebler's journey to wrestling fame began far from the squared circle. As a former Baltimore Ravens cheerleader, she already possessed the combination of athletic ability, performance experience, and undeniable beauty that would serve her so well in the wrestling industry. She started her wrestling career in WCW in 2000 before joining WWE, and from the moment she arrived, she became one of the most visually distinctive performers the company had ever seen. Her tall, slender frame was unlike anything wrestling fans had experienced before. That long, long blonde hair, that elegant poise, those impossibly long legs that became the subject of entire segments, storylines, and fan obsession. WWE leaned into Stacy's unique physical attributes in ways that were often controversial but undeniably effective at generating attention. Extended legs spots during matches, bikini contests, dance routines that highlighted her cheerleading background, all of it combined to create an image that fans simply could not forget. While her in-ring work was more limited than some of her contemporaries, Stacy's sex appeal was absolutely unmatched during her era. Fans obsessed over her appearances, and publications took notice. She graced the covers of Maxim, Stuff, and numerous other magazines, often topping early 2000s fan polls for pure physical hotness. There was something about Stacy Keebler that transcended typical wrestling glamour. She possessed a wholesomeness mixed with high-fashion sophistication that set her apart from more aggressive personalities. Her cheerleader energy combined with red carpet elegance created a persona that was simultaneously approachable and aspirational. She was the woman you dreamed about, but she was also the woman who seemed like she'd be fun to hang out with. That combination proved absolutely irresistible to wrestling audiences. Post-retirement, Stacy went on to successful modeling and acting careers, including a high-profile relationship that kept her in tabloids for years. But wrestling fans have never forgotten her impact on the industry. In 2025, 2026 retrospectives and countless Reddit threads discussing the greatest divas of all time, Stacy Keebler consistently ranks near the very top for redefining what diva glamour could look like. Stacy Keebler may have had the longest legs in WWE history, but our final entry has something even more impressive, a legacy that spans over 2 decades and a combination of beauty, athleticism, and charisma that has never been matched. Trish Stratus. And finally, we arrive at the top of our countdown, the queen, the benchmark, the woman against whom all other female wrestlers have been measured for over 2 decades now. Ladies and gentlemen, the hottest female wrestler of all time is none other than the legendary Trish Stratus. Born Patricia Ann Strategaeus on December 18, 1975, in Toronto, Canada, Trish Stratus remains the absolute gold standard for hottest female wrestlers even here in 2026. Her journey began in the fitness modeling world, where her combination of athletic physique and undeniable beauty made her a standout in an incredibly competitive industry. When WWE came calling in March 2000, they initially brought her in as a manager for the tag team TNA, and from that very first appearance, the wrestling world knew they were witnessing something special. Trish's appeal was, and remains, absolutely legendary. That long blonde hair cascading over her shoulders, a toned yet curvaceous fitness model physique that set the standard for an entire generation of female performers, piercing eyes that could convey seduction, determination, or fury depending on what the moment required, and above all, a confident, seductive presence that defined both the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era that followed. But here's what separated Trish Stratus from everyone else who came before or after her. She wasn't content to simply be eye candy. She worked relentlessly to improve her in-ring abilities, eventually becoming one of the most capable female wrestlers of her generation. Her 7 women's championship reigns, a record at the time, and her 2013 Hall of Fame induction cemented her status as a trailblazer who helped shift the perception of women's wrestling from divas to legitimate athletes. The iconic moments of her career are too numerous to count. Those bra and panties matches that pushed the boundaries of what wrestling could show on television. The Stratusfaction strut that became one of the most imitated entrances in WWE history. Multiple magazine covers, including several WWE Divas special issues that flew off shelves. And then, just when you thought her legend was complete, the classic matches against Lita, against Victoria, and even against Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam 2019 proved she could deliver between the ropes as well as anyone. Trish's beauty inspired generations of female wrestlers who followed her. Stars like Alexa Bliss have publicly cited her as a major influence on their careers, their in-ring work, and their approach to connecting with audiences. And even now, in recent years, her sporadic returns to WWE programming, including appearances in 2025, demonstrate that her allure absolutely endures. She continues continues to top legacy hottest wrestler polls with remarkable consistency. What makes Trish Stratus the undisputed top pick on this list is that perfect blend of glamour, athleticism, and charisma that no one else has managed to match. She didn't just look the part, she owned it completely. She transformed herself from eye candy to powerhouse, from manager to main eventer, from diva to legend. In many all-time rankings across different platforms, different eras, and different criteria, Trish Stratus consistently comes out on top, whether it's Ranker's Best Female Wrestlers of All Time, Bleacher Report's Legacy Rankings, or the Sportster's all-time lists. Thanks for watching. Check out other cards on the screen.